Welcome to Policy on Demand Week in Review. I'm Pam Olson.
What would you tell clients are your takeaways from this week?
My takeaways from this week are that we continue to be in a wait-and-see mode with respect to whether or not Congress is able to pass BBB or budget reconciliation in some form, whether the EU is ready to move forward on minimum taxes with respect to Pillar 2, and whether we are able to move forward on some of the other legislation that's pending in Congress.
Which question related to policy did you get asked the most, and how did you respond?
The question that came up the most this week is exactly where things stand on moving forward. And unfortunately, the answer is we still need to wait and see. On the budget reconciliation front, we are hearing that there is more optimism on the part of the Democrats. They are going to be able to move forward with some form of BBB. What's in it is to be determined. On the OECD side, we have an acknowledgement that seems to be trickling through a lot of countries that the Pillar 2 part of the OECD agreement is definitely going to be postponed until 2024. We did think some countries might move forward in 2023, but it's now looking increasingly like countries are going to be delaying that until 2024. So that's basically what's going on this week, a lot of wait and see.
Where should companies focus their attention in the coming week?
It is really important for the coming week that companies focus on getting to policymakers the information that will help policymakers understand the impact of the various provisions that are being considered. I'm going to focus in particular on the Pillar 2 rules that are part of the OECD agreement. What Hill staff heard on a trip that they made to Europe last week was that the model rules are indeed unlikely to be reopened for change. That puts a lot of pressure on the US rules, where we have benefits that are going to be treated adversely by other countries under the Pillar 2 rules. And so it's really important that companies explain to the policymakers here in the US and quite frankly in other countries as well, that we either need the model rules reopened, which again, we're told is unlikely, or that the US tax code provisions that grant various benefits, in particular, I'm going to focus on the R&D credit, need to be changed. So that's where I think companies really need to focus their attention. Run your spreadsheets, run your models, and then go in and tell the policymakers what the impact of those changes that are being considered would have on companies.